Welcome, everybody. This is the last in the series of three that's called Exploring Meditation. And it's more about just guided meditations as it is learning what meditation is. And it's developing certain qualities that improve your life and improve your well-being. And that being said, there are all kind of different meditations. There's also a different motivation for your meditation. One motivation, one motivation is just emergency breathing, and that's fine. You know, life's hard enough without having to learn Tibetan or a whole different system. All right, that's one very useful thing to do. And the reason breathing is so important in terms of meditation is that it brings you back to the present moment. It's non-dualistic, it's non-judgmental. It's something that brings you back to your body. And instead of going out, which we usually do in the West, we go out to find solutions to things. We go in to find some sort of solution. So let's find some solutions with breathing now. If you remember last time, we were talking about belly breathing, and following the breath is really important, and a lot of people relate to it. But personally, I like belly breathing, and I like following the breath in the belly because it brings me into the body. Let me just, there are too many things on my screen right now, so I can't see you. Okay, hold on one second. All right. So the belly breathing, you sort of expand the belly as you breathe in, and then you breathe. Just try that right now. Just expand the belly and do an exhale. Expand the belly. When you exhale, you sort of bring the muscles of your stomach back up a little bit. Okay. So that's basic belly breathing. And you can do that anytime you want to. And the another way to use belly breathing is what we were doing last time. It's called three breaths, three ways, three breaths. And so you breathe in. I'll tell you about it first, then we'll do it together. You breathe in three times, just a normal belly breath. You start with your belly, you bring it up to your chest, and then up through your collarbone. Then you exhale, and the first exhale after three inhales, you do it after each inhale, of course, is just like you're blowing out through a straw and make it a little bit longer than the inhale. Okay, the second one is you inhale, belly breathing the same way. You breathe into the belly, comes up through the diaphragm, up to the collarbone, and then you say Om. You can say Om or Hum, either one, or hum, you know. Okay, so it's Hum. And you try to get some sort of a vibration going here. So you do that one three times. And then the last three times, you do the same inhale, belly breathing, up through the diaphragm, up to the collarbone, and then you go, ha, all right? Just, ha. You're just letting it all go. And you can do it fast, you can do it slow. And this is really handy, sort of an emergency thing, or if you're trying to go to sleep, or almost any time, you just want to relax a little bit. Because it's nine breaths, and after you take the nine breaths, you're sort of not exactly where you were when you started. Okay, you ready? You don't have to cough beforehand. I did. All right, so take a breath in, belly breath. Out. Number two. All right. Number three is breathe in. Om. Breathe in. Number three. Om. Wait for the third set. Breathe in. Big sigh out. Breathe in. Breathe in. Okay. So that's called three breaths, three ways. And one thing I've learned, teaching meditation over a long period of time, is that there's certain misconceptions about meditation. And the first one, and maybe the most important one, is, am I doing it right? And countless people have come up and say, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. My mind is just going crazy. I have all these thoughts, they keep coming in. There's nothing I can do about it. And so I can remember when I was living in the Tibetan community, we'd go to the teacher and we'd say, "Oh, our mind's a mess. We can't," and he would say, "Oh, stop right there. That's such good progress. You're showing progress." We said, "We are." And he would say, "Yes, your mind's always been out of control, but you've never noticed it before. Now you notice it, and now you're on your way." So I'll say the same to you. If you're confused about your mind being too active, then it's a good sign. If this keeps up, or if what's called monkey mind plagues you, and monkey mind is exactly what it sounds like. It's your mind is like 20 monkeys swinging through trees, and you just can't get rid of them. And they just interfere. You feel like, oh, I'm not meditating. I'm just, these monkey minds are just driving me nuts. Well, the fact is, you are meditating, but what you're meditating on is your monkey mind. So meditation is just a word that means becoming familiar with. It has no, woo-woo meaning other than becoming familiar with the process. And the goal of meditation isn't what happens on your cushion. All right. And there's no judgment about it. When you take a walk, you don't judge the walk. You're taking one step in front of another step, and you get home, and that's it. You don't judge yourself, but meditation has a way of, I mean, the word itself has become loaded. In a way, it's become weaponized. Have you meditated today? That kind of thing. Don't listen to all of that. Make it your own. And I say this over and over and over. And sometimes people really believe me, and sometimes they go back to the set of rules that they've heard, and they think they should follow them without any sort of deviation. Well, they're fine to follow in the beginning. If you've never meditated before, it really helps to count the meditations, to follow the breath in, to follow the breath out, just the way it feels in your nostrils, and to not do more than that. But um, Rick Hansen says a he studies the neurology of meditation. And he says, do something for 3 weeks, 15 minutes a day, and it becomes a habit. neurons that fire together wire together. So once you have the habit of meditation, then you can start branching out and doing it more that it suits your own life, your own way of thinking. And also there's a different difference in just meditating sort of ad hoc and doing it once in a while, or if you're in an emergency, and it's wonderful for that, and establishing a meditation practice. So if you want to establish a meditation practice, it's not about what happens on the cushion at all, not at all. It's about developing certain qualities that improve your life and improve your well-being. So this is a meditation practice we're talking about. And there are certain misconceptions about meditation, as I was saying, and one is that you're in control from the beginning about your mind. Well, you're not. You never have been. And so it takes a while to learn how this is all going to work. And there's another misconception is that the goal of meditation is to become calm. Well, that's not the goal of meditation. It's the byproduct of meditation. The goal of meditation, if you're trying to establish a meditation practice that will influence your life and make it better, then you have to not pretend that you're just calm all the time. Because what meditation does ultimately, not on the first go round, but ultimately, it will teach you to deal with life as it is, not as the way you want it to be. Because when you come right down to it, the reason we suffer is that we want the world to be different than it is. And it's not. The world is as it is. And how is it? Well, it's impermanent. There's old age, sickness, and death. That's a given because in our biology. So you have to learn to accept that and also accept the fact that there's, first of all, there are 8.4 billion other people in the universe. And so when you're waiting in line, you're thinking, well, why don't they hurry up? I really need to get to the cashier. I need to go to the bank, blah, 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 blah. Well, I mean, just think, one of me, 8 billion of them, all right? Give the other 8 billion a little space, a little room sometimes. That really helps. Another misconception is that you have to stay there for 20 minutes, sitting up straight, and following the breath. This is fine in the beginning. It's fine if it works for you. Some people have a meditation practice based on that's gone on for years. Other people find that, well, I can do this, but it's getting a little bit old now. Switch to something else. And the else is meditating with an object, as we say. That's dualistic meditation. And by dualism, I mean it's the I, and you is a dual. Right and left is dual. Black and white is dual. There's a lot that goes on in the middle, but our language is very dualistic. And I've had a number of translators tell me that, English is a really difficult medium language to deal with because it doesn't have the right words in it for what they want to say. So they have to make up these very elaborate constructs of language to express something. Just take the word emptiness, for instance. It's an awful translation. I have yet to meet a translator that thinks it's good. Well, then they have to say, well, it's fullness. Well, it's not fullness. I mean, empty just means it's empty of your own projections. I mean, that's the first layer. It has other layers too. But, so that's just an example of how language sort of makes us dualistic, and our society makes us dualistic, our politics makes us dualistic. So when you meditate, you want to be non-dual, right? So when you're being non-dual, you're not dividing yourself from yourself. Instead of looking out, you're looking in. So you have awareness, and then you have awareness of awareness. And this is something we haven't covered yet. This is brand new. But awareness is, as we said before, there are different aspects of the mind. One is knowing, you just know that a computer's a computer, that I'm looking on a screen as a screen. All right. There's the moving mind, which is the cognitive mind, the imaginative mind, the mind that thinks it's in control of everything. And then there's awareness, which is non-dual. It's like a video camera that's on all the time. It just sees what's out there, and it doesn't judge it, and it doesn't add anything to it. It doesn't have an agenda. It doesn't try to sell you anything, all right, so to speak. So you have awareness then, and awareness is the part of your mind that you can learn to control, and meditation is based on awareness. All right. John Kabat-Zinn, his whole mindfully based, mindful based stress reduction is based on learning to control awareness. So just an example of awareness, look to the left, look to the right, look up, look down. That's awareness. You can control awareness. So the more you learn to control awareness, the more you can get out of meditation. Okay? This would be a great place to stop and ask if there are questions, but we can't do that until afterwards. So we'll go on and talk about mindfulness meditation a little bit. And it's become sort of a buzzword now. I opened a pack of Ziploc bags, and it had mindfulness 4 times in the little strip that usually says tear here. It was mindfully dispose of this, mindfully open the package, mindfulness, recycle it. So it was like, if you remember the Zen word, the same thing happened. It was the Zen of motorcycle maintenance, and then it became the Zen of this, the Zen of that, the Zen of cooking, the Zen of blah, blah. And so now mindfulness has also become a buzzword. And it's the mindfulness of this, the mindfulness of that. In fact, I just watched a show on a series on Netflix called Murder Mindfully. I don't know if anybody else have seen this, but it's about a criminal lawyer, and he works for a mob, and then his wife makes him go to a mindfulness coach, and after that, it's really kind of funny because what he does is he gets in these situations that are making him a better murderer, a better criminal, and it goes flashbacks to his mindfulness coach, and he takes what the mindfulness coach learned and applies it to becoming a better bad person. And he gets in it really is one of these high concept comedies that it's so outrageous you don't believe it, but then you do believe it and you laugh at it. So, but the point I'm trying to make now is that it all depends on your motivation. I had a Tibetan teacher that all he talked about was motivation, it seemed like. Over and over and over, every time he'd start a talk with us, he would talk about motivation. One time we were in LA at a big, gathering there, and he was teaching, and he started off with a lot of meditation. And at the break, somebody came up and said, Rinpoche, if you didn't talk about motivation so much, you'd have more students. Well, you don't say that to a Rinpoche and get away with it. So the rest of the day, all he talked about was motivation. But it's true. I mean, motivation is very, very important. Why are you meditating? Why are you here? Why are you trying to learn this? Is it to be happy? Is it to be healthy? Is it to, reach enlightenment? These are all different meditations, and they go in different paths. So mindfulness is extremely important, but you do need to have something other than wanting to be a better criminal in the background. Okay. So one of the meditations that I haven't talked about so far is the centering prayer. And it's a Christian meditation that has grown up around what Father Keating started years and years ago. I think it was in the 90s. And he was, his Trappist monastery was on the same road as the Insight Meditation Monastery, retreat center. And so people would be looking for the retreat center and they would come to the Father Keating's place and ask for directions. Well, he got interested in the stream of people that was coming through. He got interested in meditation, and then he started the centering prayer. So let me just give you one quote from him. I'm going to speak about someone called God in the Judeo-Christian tradition. I have never heard another term that is as popular, but all kinds of people have different meanings of God, so there's almost as many words for God as there are people, which isn't a bad insight because in my understanding, this being beyond being, whatever he, she, it is, there's no word or concept to embrace it all. It's not overwhelming, but it's monumental. And it insinuates everything so that this presence, which is perhaps my favorite word for it, is in everything without being limited to anything. It just is. So Father Keating gives a meditation. This is online on YouTube. He's giving a meditation to the inmates in Folsom Prison. So go to YouTube, look up Father Keating, look up Folsom Prison, and he has a wonderful voice. So you learn more about centering prayer through that than me just talking about it. Okay? To go on to what I was going to say about awareness of awareness, when you have awareness, all right, do this. Think to yourself, I wonder what my next thought is going to be. What happens? There's a gap, right? You don't think anything. Well, the gap is really important in meditations that you keep on with after you've gone through the initial learning how to meditate stage. And so awareness, you're dealing with who's aware, who's thinking, and you can get into a number of wonderful, it's a portal into a different kind of thinking about the world. And you can look that up. There's a lot of different places. I have some of that on my website. My website, by the way, isn't a commercial one. It's it lists my books, but you don't have to click on the Amazon thing. You'll never get on a mailing list with it. You'll never be asked for money, but there are a lot of resources on it. You do need to spell my name right. It's Kimberley, spelled Ley, and it's kimberley.snow.com. Okay, so there's still much to say, but let's just close that now with a nice long loving kindness meditation. So take a deep breath, another one. You can close your eyes or open them. Visualize the light in your heart. It's a light of loving kindness. It's innate. You don't have to manufacture it. It's there. This feeling of love, this feeling of peace, this feeling of well-being. So let it permeate your body. It's pushing out negativity, It's pushing out judgment. It's pushing out fear. It's just the light of loving kindness. So just feel it going through your body. It feels so good, you want to share it. So share it with the people who came today to be online with us to talk about meditation. You can look at their faces or not, but send out a light of loving kindness to them. If you feel the light of loving kindness come back to you, accept it, enjoy it, embody it, and send it back out to everyone again. Now, as a group, let's send out a light of loving kindness into the world. There aren't many of us. There are a lot of people that need loving kindness. So let's just make it a general, global sense of loving kindness that we're sending out into the world. We're part of a wave of well-being that permeates the world. It's getting covered over with a lot of different things today. So become one of the ones who belong to the wave of loving kindness and share it wherever you can, whenever you can. Make an aspiration that you'll keep it in your heart. Anytime you see distress, maybe in the grocery store, children are fighting, mothers are screaming, whatever, there's a lot of places where loving kindness really can help. And you can't ask yourself, what can I do as a little person doing it? Just do it, okay? Just do it. Now bring the light of loving kindness back into your heart. And before I say goodbye to you, I have little pieces of advice. One, make it your own, make meditation your own. Two, involve the body. And three, and this is really important, don't call it meditation, just do it. Okay? And so I'm going to close on that note and meditate well and be well and happy holidays.